My name's Chase Yee. I'm very happy to be here, and welcome to my art studio, my photo studio here in Mid-City, downtown Los Angeles. I spend quite a bit of time here painting, staging photographs, having coffee with friends, reading, working on videos, all kinds of things. It's a great place to stay busy and be creative, and the lighting in here is just so spectacular. I really love it. It's a great place for me to have some solitude and to think about a lot of things, to think about my life, to think about all the mistakes that I've made, trying to find some kind of direction in all the chaos that comes with being a young man and just being a person in this modern time. It's very difficult, and a lot of those thoughts and feelings have brought me to making this painting, which I'm very proud of. I'm happy with how it's turned out. I love the colors. And the thought process behind this is that there's so many parts of ourselves that we have to constantly break apart. We have to constantly rebuild who we are to make sense of who we are and to make sense of what we're doing with our time. And this particular painting came to be after a good friend of mine had passed away. His name was Han Cho. He was actually a customer of mine. He had bought a few photographs from me, and we became friends, fast friends. And I even went to his house once to drop off some photos that he had purchased. I'd framed them for him, brought them to his place, and we made plans to grab drinks and have dinner and just talk about life. He was older than me. He was actually going to be 50 this week, and I've been thinking about him a lot. He recently passed away in a motorcycle accident, very unexpected, sort of a random thing that happened, and his death has really stirred up a lot of feelings in me. Even though he was a new friend, his impact was tremendous on me. And when I look at this painting, and especially when I was creating it, I just had this sense of recognizing myself again. I felt a responsibility almost to reassess who I was, who I am, and what I'm doing with my life. There's parts of me that I can still recognize, patches that look familiar, that feel familiar, but then there's these new areas of color, these new areas of cohesion that really start to seep in and move around. And when I take a step back and look at it, it all makes sense. It's pleasant. I feel at peace, even though so much of it is still confusing and so much of it I'm still figuring out along the way. And I just feel that this really captures that spirit. It captures that spirit of analysis, of reassessment, of patience, of thought, of energy, the conservation of energy. You don't want to waste anything. I don't want to waste anything. I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste my life. So when I look at this painting, I feel so much texture. It's all done with oil. So it took a lot of time to paint this. It's still drying. It's not like acrylic, things that can dry instantly. There's some matte chalk paint that I use for the blacks. I like how deep and rich those blacks really look, and how flat and soft that can look. But the way the oil is dried and the way I've layered it on, everything looks really rich. It feels very alive to me. There's a constant searching going on within myself that I feel that this painting really captures. And I've gone through and I've cleaned up a lot of these joints where these shapes meet. I think so often in life there are many things we feel like don't fit. Maybe parts of ourselves or people we meet or things that happen to us. Why did this happen? Trying to make sense out of all those things. But really, when we just allow those things to happen and then we sort of understand why they're happening, we clean those things up, everything really begins to click. So much so to the point that when I look at this now, I don't see that anything's out of place. And there's so many things I can infer from this. Spontaneity, love, self-acceptance, patience. And I think about my friend. I think about the way that life happens to you so unexpectedly. And you have to make the most of the time that you have. Even if you think you're going to live forever, you won't. And art, poetry, color, all those things remind us of that. It's very fleeting. I'm still working on it. There are some parts I'd like to even out some of the color. I've mixed all these colors, so they're not just naturally out of the tube. You have to sort of recreate them, and sometimes you can create them a little bit lighter, a little bit darker, and balancing that out is tough. But other than that, it's pretty much finished, and I just want to thank you very much for watching and listening, and I hope it helps. I hope it gives you an opportunity to dissect things in your own life, trying to make sense out of them, and to know that they're all a work in progress. Thank you very much.